me a call.
What's up, everyone? My name is DJ. Welcome to Gamma Bro Hulk Reviews. Now for your Gamma Dose of the Jade Giant. Today's featured Hulk item is an Incredible Hulk Standee replica that is made to look like the 1990 Toy Biz Incredible Hulk. From a distance, this looks like an actual real figure, but it's a 3D Standee, and I think the actual figure inside is actually really nice. I like it a lot. I think it's a pretty cool sculpt. But as you can see, it's in a acrylic case, and it's actually half a figure, which I think is pretty cool. But this is, pretty much an exact replica of the crushing arm action Incredible Hulk from the 1990 Toy Biz line. But the figure itself is actually very different. Completely different face. I like this face a lot. I think the body sculpt is nice. They have it, where it actually looks like there's articulation in the legs and in the knees. And there's a lot of shading. As you can see, the shading in the feet. And I think the paint on this is actually pretty nice. It's a Standee, so it has a black base. So you prop this on your collection, and it's very sturdy, and it basically replicates what the figure looks like. Now you get this from Lootcrate. This was a Lootcrate exclusive figure. I'm not sure how many were in this set. I know there were a few. I know there was definitely a Captain America. But the images are pretty cool. All the classic comic images that's, used quite often. But this is what it came in. It came out in 2022. Now as for Lootcrate, they're always vastly delayed on their stuff, so I'm not sure exactly when this actually came out. Now you know what it is, and you can find it if you like it. I think it has very good display ability. I really like the colors. I like how vintage it looks like, and I definitely recommend it. It's pretty neat. Little creative way to display a figure. So I hope you guys enjoy that Hulk Standee figure from Lootcrate. I will now do a little discussion, my weekly discussion, and here we go. Today's topic is going to be discussing moving and how awful it is, especially if you're a collector. So in the statue community, with people who have a vast amount of statues and the amount of boxes, so storage for statues. I mean, if these bigger statues here at the top, they're 1/4 scale. So the boxes are like 3 to 4 feet and 2 feet wide for each statue. So if you have like, say 50 statues, hypothetically, those are 50 large ass boxes, and you have to sit there and take it out of the shipper box, then take the styrofoam out of the normal box, and then take the statue apart, put it in the styrofoam, and repackage it. And the amount of space that those stupid packages take up. So, if you're using a U-Haul, just in statues, you're talking in a U-Haul, like 4 or 5 trips, depending on how many statues you have. For me and my collection, it is like insanity. So it matters how much you really care about figures. Some people just throw figures in bins with no protection and just store them that way. I cringe when I see that. I like to take care of my stuff personally, so I usually will wrap them in bubble wrap and package them in their own separate bag, and then put them in a box or storage container just to move. And when you have thousands of figures, you're talking just hours and hours and hours of just packaging. That's not even dealing with the actual transportation part. Growing up and becoming an adult, I moved quite a bit, growing up. So every time I moved, my collection got just a tad bit bigger. And the last couple homes that I've been in, I was there for 5 years, 7 years. So my collection amassed greatly within those times. This last move was one of the hardest, worst experiences I've ever gone through. Extremely stressful. When you have a collection of my size, just the packing part was a few months of doing a little bit every single night. And then on the weekends when you have time to do a couple hours worth of packing. And then when you have your collection like this, it's easier to, separate it and put a decent amount within the space that you have. But when you're moving and you're putting these in boxes, the boxes are taking up way much more space. So I had rooms and rooms just filled with boxes, and living room and dining room and basement and attic and guest bedroom and my collection room. And it was just insanity. Just, I felt like a hoarder, and where you have like inches of space just to walk around and get around, and labeling it and trying to make sure that everything is organized enough so where when you unpack it to set up your collection, you know where things are. You're not searching everywhere. Like even my plushes, like I have like a few hundred plushes, so like just that space, throwing them in garbage bags, and I mean it was just insanity. So that's just the packing part. And then you have the move. It was probably like 5 full days of moving, like from morning till nighttime. I had 5 trips with the U-Haul, a big U-Haul, and then at least 50, 60 full trips in my truck. And the truck like filled to the gills, and my wife's like SUV filled with boxes. And that's just my collection. I am not even talking about the actual move of like furniture and everything else. That's just my freaking collection. So by the end of it, and then moving into your brand new place, your brand new home, and then just seeing boxes and boxes and boxes of it, like collectibles everywhere. So like people when they move in, like they do a little bit at a time, and their furniture is set up in the rooms, but then you have like your silverware you put out and your groceries you immediately put away and those type of things. And so there's not that many boxes. But when you have a collection like the size of mine, and I had rooms and rooms just filled to the gills with boxes. And then getting the boxes that you need, and then the statue boxes. So just finding the right one, because I'm pretty particular. So like say these statues up here at the top, like they all had to be in specific places to fit them correctly and to get the best angles throughout the entire thing. So I had to map it out in my mind, and then measure it and make sure it all fits, measure out all the, like the cubes and stuff. So it was chaotic. But if I had to get to a statue that I thought I wasn't going to need to get to later on, I needed to get to it now. So I had to like move 30 boxes to get to one particular box, unpack that. So then when you unpack a statue and then it doesn't fit in the place that you thought it would fit, or it didn't look as good as where you thought it would look at, and you already unpacked it, so now I had like 30 gajillion pieces just lying on the floor. It looked like a bomb went off. Not only did I have to package everything to ship, then transport everything to the place, bring everything into the home, and then slowly unpack everything, was weeks and weeks. That's not even actually setting up the collection room, and then setting up the collection room and getting it to where you want it. It was ungodly stressful. And for anybody who has to do it, I'm sorry. Hopefully you don't have a collection like mine and you didn't have to go through it. And that's just box stuff. And then I have all my carded stuff. And I have like 1,000 carded figures. So then, as I said in my previous video when I'm talking about like shipping things, when you have loose stuff, it's much easier to protect it and to box it and move it to where you need to move it. But when you have carded stuff, you have to make sure those cards and bubbles are in good condition, like before you move it and after. So transporting that and protecting it and make sure everything's safe was just ungodly stressful. Like seriously one of the most stressful times in my life, and I've gone through quite a bit. But a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into like transporting this stuff. And in my own old home, I knew like eventually I was going to be moving all the time. It was in the back of my mind, like, why are you growing this collection? Why are you having this collection get bigger and bigger when you know you're eventually going to move? And I kept putting it off and like pretending it didn't exist. But when the time came when I knew we were searching for a home to buy, I tried to be ahead of it. So in months prior to the actual move, I was trying to like start packing and everything, which did help. But inevitably, it didn't really matter because the amount of stuff that I had to transport was just insane. Everybody moves. Most people have gone through it unless you're younger and you still live with your parents. But I'm sure you might have been in situations where your parents moved to different places and you tagged along with them with your stuff. But as you get older and you start going off on your own, I'm just curious, like, if you moved and you had a collection, like, how was it for you? Was it nearly as bad as me, or did you, like, start collecting and you're, like, smart when, you know, you're in a home for a very, very long time? Did you start collecting then? Or were you like me, where you moved and then you had to transport everything? But just let me know in the comments, like, if you've gone through similar situations like me. Hopefully not as bad as me, and how much I've gone through, because it was absolutely terrible. So I don't recommend it to anybody. And if you've gone through it, I feel your pain, trust me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this rant about moving and packing. And if you start a collection and you're not in a home that you know you'll be in for a very long time, really think about size of pieces and storage and space, because all that matters. Even boxing the stuff, when you're done unpacking everything and you have statues and you have these things, still got to find places to store those boxes. Then you have to think about storage units and if that's worth it, because in my opinion it's not, but storage units are expensive and some people throw away boxes. But this could be a topic for a later video, but just even storing the boxes is a pain in the ass. I hope you enjoyed this rant. Smash the like button, subscribe if you like, and I will see you in the next video. Alright guys, peace.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.